إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في الكتاب المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين وإما ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فاستعذ بالله وقال تعالى في مكان آخر ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بلغوا عني ولو آية صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, we live in a time and a society that is moving away from religion, that is moving away from belief in a higher power or belief in a God, and is moving more towards scientific development, scientific thinking or enlightened thinking as they might call it, and atheism. If you look back only 100 years from today, you'll see that atheism or belief that there's no such thing as a God did not exist. As a matter of fact, everyone was religious or semi-religious in whatever faith they believed in about 100 years ago. But today you see that atheism is widespread, and you see that many youth are moving in the direction of believing that there's no such thing as a God, that there's no such thing as religion, that there's no need to believe in a religion. Us as Muslims, we must ask ourselves that in times like these, where Allah Azza wa Jalla is being forgotten, where the words of Allah are being forgotten, what is our purpose in times like these? Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah said that we have not created mankind and jinn except for one purpose. The purpose, the sole purpose of our existence on earth is simply one word, to worship. It's not to become the next Bill Gates or to chase a nice corporate position. It's simply one word, which is to worship. That is our purpose. Our entire purpose of our entire life here is just to worship, our ibadah. But notice the word used in this ayah. Allah Azza wa Jalla did not say, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْجِنِّ. He didn't say that we did not create believers and jinn except for worship. He said, we did not create humankind, meaning that every single human being on earth was sent to worship Allah. Every single human being, not one human being was sent here for a different reason, only to worship Allah. But how, I must ask you that how is a Tom and a Bob and a Joe to believe in Allah if he does not know Allah's words, if he does not know what the Quran is, if he does not know what Islam teaches, if he does not know what the Prophet ﷺ taught? How is this person to believe in Islam or to believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla? We must ask ourselves that question. Today I want to talk about da'wah and why it is the single most important mission of every Muslim on the face of the earth. Why it is the most important mission? There's not a more important mission for any Muslim. And it's also an obligation upon every Muslim to do da'wah. So what is da'wah? Da'wah comes from the word da'a yad'u, which means to call. See, da'wah can be done in many different ways. But in essence, da'wah simply means to teach those around you about Islam, about Allah Azza wa Jal, and to invite those people to Islam and the truth, and to take them, as Allah says in the Quran, مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ, from the darkness into the light. Give them Islam and move them from the darkness into the light. And you look at the Prophet ﷺ, and he was sent with simply one mission as well, to do da'wah. And he was sent in a community, one of the worst communities. He was sent in a time where the people were burying their baby daughters alive, where there was prostitution, everyone was getting drunk and alcoholics everywhere, right? He was sent in such a community. And he was sent to take those people out of the darkness into the light. That was the sole mission. And the sole mission of every prophet from Adam alayhi salatu wasalam to Musa, to Ibrahim, and finally to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, what is da'wah? What does Allah Azza wa Jalla say in the Quran about how to do da'wah? Because da'wah is not just going to a non-Muslim and saying, hey man, I'm Muslim, we believe in one Allah, we pray, we fast, we give zakah. That's our religion. We're not like a religious group or a cult. Islam is the way of life. Islam is the truth, and to give the truth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran the rules and guidelines as how to carry out da'wah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions two scenarios in the Quran. The first scenario, he says, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Now remember, every ayah that I'm saying now is in the context of da'wah, or inviting people to Islam. So Allah says, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ, which literally means to hold on to forgiveness. And one may ask, what does that even mean, to hold on to forgiveness? Why didn't Allah Azza wa Jalla just say urfu, which means to forgive? Because Allah is saying that when you're doing da'wah, and you're spreading the message of Islam to people that have no idea what Islam is, to people that can't comprehend that you can't eat certain food, and you can't do certain things. When you're talking to people like that, you have to be forgiving. But it's not easy to be forgiving. So Allah's saying, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ, it's like a slippery rope, like a slippery chicken trying to run away, you're trying to grab it. That's how Allah is describing forgiveness right now. He's saying, hold on to it. Because let's say, for example, I see a lot of young people here, let's say you're at college, on campus, and you set up a da'wah booth. You just want to talk about Islam, teach people that this is Islam. It's not a religion of terrorism, it's actually a religion of peace. You're talking about it. And someone comes up to you and he's like, well, I read in this Tafsir Tabari, or in this place, and you guys are jihadis, you guys are killing people, you're terrorists. What do you do in that situation? Because it hits your ego, right? You get kind of mad that, why are you talking about my religion that way? So you get kind of frustrated and angry. But Allah is saying, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ. In that situation, hold on to forgiveness. What happened with the Prophet ﷺ when he went to Ta'if to give da'wah? He went to Ta'if, a small city on the outskirts of, a little far from Mecca and Medina, like in Saudi Arabia. He went there to do da'wah, right? What happened? He went there and they rejected him. They rejected his message. But not only did they reject his message, but they sent their kids to go and pelt him with stones. And the reports mentioned that they threw so many stones at him that his shoes were filled with blood. He was covered in bruises and blood, and his shoes were filled with blood. That's how badly they attacked him. So when he reached the outskirts of Ta'if, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Angel Jibreel alayhi salam to the Prophet ﷺ, and he told him, Angel Jibreel told the Prophet ﷺ, if you want, I could take these two mountains and crush everyone in Ta'if, and everyone that's in there, and kill everyone. But the Prophet ﷺ, in his mind, he had one mission, and one goal, and that was da'wah. So he told Angel Jibreel, no, don't kill them, because someone from these people could become Muslim. Because he was always thinking in the terms of da'wah, and he was thinking of khud al-afwa, hold on to forgiveness, as Allah said. And that's step number one. First of all, you have to be forgiving in this field. Second thing, Allah says, وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ, and command to something. See, it's interesting how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said urf and not ma'ruf. Ma'ruf means something that is known, something that's common sense. But Allah said, steer the conversation with this person into a direction where you can both agree on something. Find the common elements, find the common ground. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, man, but let's talk about the rights of neighbors. Let's talk about the rights of women in Islam. Let's talk about gender equality and the lack of racism in Islam. Let's talk about these things, things that can attract the person. Because to everyone else, other than people that know Islam, other than us, to everyone else, Islam is a foreign concept which to most people today teaches violence. Right? So you have to find something that they can understand. Find the common ground where they can be attracted to what you have to say. That's step number 2. Step number 3, Allah says, وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. That when you're doing da'wah, you're going to find so many different kinds of people. People that are understanding, people that are not understanding, people that are, hypocrites, fake people. You're going to find many different types of people. Allah says, وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. When you find people that are ignorant and that are just going to, talk random things and they're going to waste your time, you're going to waste their time, don't talk to them. Just ignore them. Ignore the ignorant people, the jahil people, And I'm sure most people understand. Ignore the jahil people. That's what Allah says. And Allah says after that, that when you're doing da'wah, when you're talking to these people, trying to get them to come to Islam, you have created for yourself a mortal enemy. Because who is that? Shaitan. Shaitan's only purpose here is to stop the spread of Islam. And here you are spreading the message of Islam. So Shaitan, no, he can't have that, right? So he comes to you, he says, man, why are you doing this? This is not your job. It's not your job to do this. And he'll tell you different things that whisper in your ear, trying to take you off of doing da'wah. But remember, da'wah is the most essential thing for a Muslim to do. So then, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions another scenario, in another part. Now this scenario was kind of hard. People are insulting you, attacking you, like saying things to you, but you have to be, forgiving, you have to be understanding, try to reason with the person. But in another part of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it a little harder for us. He says, وَلَا تَسْتَوِ الْحَسَنَةُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَةُ. And do not mistake the good and the bad. Do not think that the good is equal to the bad, which is common sense, right? But what Allah is saying that do not justify doing something good by doing it in a bad way. For example, you have a son and you want him to pray. So you tell your son, come on son, let's go pray. And he says, no dad, I don't want to pray, I'm playing games. So you tell your son, let's go pray, and afterwards, I'll buy you ice cream. That's a nice way to say it. Or you can say it in a different way, and you can say, go pray right now, go do wudu, you better pray right now, you're a disgrace, you're a waste of space. That's a different way to say it. You basically communicated the same message, that son, you need to pray. But there's a nice way of doing it, and there's a bad way of doing it. So Allah says, إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Find the best way to speak to this person, and choose that direction. And then he says, فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ. That if between you and this person, you find that there's some kind of, feud, or like there's anger between you two, and enmity. Allah says, He makes it really hard. He says, كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. You have to treat that person like he's your wali. What does wali mean? Wali means not just a friend, but wali means a friend who you can trust with your life, that they'll protect you in times of hardship. That's what a wali is. Allah is saying that when you're doing da'wah, you have to treat the person, regardless of how they may, use foul language against you, you have to treat that person like he's a wali, a close friend. And then Allah makes it even harder. He says, hamim. Hamim comes from the word hamama, which means to, when you think of a friend that you really, really love, you feel like all warm inside, and you hear his name and you're like, man, I miss that person, I miss that friend of mine. That's how you feel, right? So Allah's saying you have to treat this person like he's not just a friend, but a waliyun hamim, someone that when you think of them, when you hear their name, you feel really good inside, like, man, I miss him. That's how you have to treat this person that's, attacking you. And Allah recognizes, Allah knows humans. He created us, He knows us better than anyone else. He knows us better than we know ourselves. So He says, وَمَا يُلَقَّهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. That this da'wah thing is not for everyone. وَمَا يُلَقَّهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. That indeed, not everyone is going to be able to do this. It's not for everyone, man. That's Allah saying it. It's only for those people who have sabr. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. People who have patience. And Allah is saying that if you don't have patience, then this thing, doing da'wah, one-on-one da'wah, it's not for you. You have to have extreme amount of patience when you're dealing with non-Muslims who don't know about Islam, right? You have to treat them like they're waliyun hamim, close friends. And Allah says that, so everyone knows, right? What happens when you do da'wah and someone becomes Muslim from your efforts? When someone becomes Muslim from your efforts, any action that they do for the rest of their lives, from saying the shahada to saying bismillah to praying to doing wudu, every little small action that's even insignificant to us, but it's a good action, that reward will come to you if that person became Muslim from your efforts. So Allah is saying, وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ. That if you can do da'wah, if you can communicate with people and spread the message of Islam, then indeed you are from the fortunate people. The most fortunate people on earth are the ones who can spread the message of Islam. Because all the prophets ﷺ, from Adam till now, the best human beings to walk the face of the earth, they were sent just to do da'wah. So how can there possibly be a more nobler action, a more nobler deed than doing da'wah? So Allah is saying that if you can do da'wah, if you can master this patience and forgiveness for people, then indeed you are the most fortunate of people. Why is it important for us to do da'wah today? Because if you look outside at the community outside, if you look on TV, if you look on social media, Islam is being portrayed in the most negative ways. Islam is viewed as a religion of violence, of hate, of crime. Islam is viewed as a religion of terrorism. We have groups like ISIS who are just, making the name of Islam go bad. They're making us look bad, right? So in the media, Islam looks really, really bad. So it's extremely important that today, now of all times, we have to make sure that we are embodying Islam properly. What does that mean? That means that when you go deal with people, you're dealing with them in a respectful way. That means that every action that you do, everything that you say, you're thinking in your head that I'm representing Islam, and me representing Islam is a form of da'wah, and me talking to people and acting a certain way will show people how Islam is. I'm actually 17 years old, and I have friends in college, and I even know non-Muslim people. I have friends that are non-Muslims. And one time I was with one of my neighbor friends. His name is Josh, and he told me, he's like, yeah man, I gotta go to church on Sunday. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's like, so what religion do you follow? Are you like a Hindu? Because like I'm Indian, so people think Indians are Hindus automatically. I was like, no man, I'm Muslim. So Josh was like, you're Muslim? Why are you part of that group of people, man? That's just wrong. And I'm like, what do you mean that's wrong? What do you mean that's wrong? Islam is the truth, the way of life, and you're gonna tell me that it's wrong? I didn't get mad. I just said, he didn't know what it is. See, the thing is, most people don't know. The youth of today don't know what Islam is because they're being fed with all this poison from social media, from the television. They're being fed poison, literally, that's corrupting their entire way of thinking, their system. And that's why today we have to make sure that we show them what Islam actually is. For one time, my mom, she prepared some sweets and I went and I just gave them to my neighbors. Just to establish this relationship, that we're good people. And so that they understand, out of all the kids in the neighbors understand that, me and my siblings, we're more respectful. And they know we're Muslim. We're trying to show them that we're more respectful because of the values that Islam has taught us. Because Islam makes us better. We constantly have to think that if something you do bad, that makes Islam look bad. That's how we should live in da'wah. That's how the Prophet ﷺ lived. His whole life, he was a walking Qur'an. He lived and preached Islam. And he literally lived the Qur'an, People saw him and people would become Muslim just by looking at how he acted, how he dealt with situations. That's like the purest form of da'wah. That's how we all need to strive to be, living in America especially. And, the da'wah thing, it's something that catches on. So if you tell someone, it could reach someone really far away. Like Allah says in the Qur'an, وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مثلا أصحاب القرية. In Surah Yasin, Allah says, وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءهم المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. What happened is that there was a small town that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that there was not a single believer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 2 messengers to those people. And yet no one believed. People kept telling them, you guys are wrong, you're liars, leave our city, leave our town. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a third person, a third prophet. 3 prophets, same town. Small town, not a city. A small town. Because if it was a city, Allah would have used the word Medina. He used the word Qarya. Qarya is a small town. Which you can imagine if you've been back home. A small town. 3 messengers. And then these people are just doing da'wah, right? And the message, regardless of how it spreads. So, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٍ يَسْعَى. Allah says, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ. That a man came from the outskirts of the city. Now remember, these messengers are in the town, which is not in the city. This man came from the outskirts of another city somewhere else. And he came and he told the people, اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Follow these messengers because they're saying the truth. So da'wah, when you do da'wah, the message, if you're spreading the truth, it will cause a chain reaction and spread. Right? And that's what we need to try to do, to try to spread the message of Qur'an, message of Islam. And try to make sure that everyone out there knows. Because on the Day of Judgment, when you're standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the person that you used to work with, your friend or your neighbor, is going to tell Allah, oh Allah, this person never told me about Islam. He never told me what was in the Qur'an. He never told me what you had to say or what your Prophet had to say. How is it my fault that I'm going to help? He will say that in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah will ask you, what did you do for the sake of da'wah? What did you do to help the cause of da'wah, to spread my message to the world? What did you do? And most of us will sit there like, we didn't really do much. We didn't really do much. Right? Maybe we embodied Islam properly, but we didn't really do much. I am here today with an organization whose sole purpose is to do da'wah in this country. And inshallah I will explain more about that. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm here explaining to you the importance of da'wah so you can understand why it is important, especially today of all times. And I'm also here representing an organization called Al-Furqaan Foundation. We are a national organization and we've been doing da'wah for 15 years now. 15 years plus. I was 2 years old when this organization started. We've been doing da'wah for that long. And so far, alhamdulillah, we've distributed about 1.5 million copies of the Quran nationwide. Alhamdulillah, we've had many converts call and accept Islam, take Shahada because of the efforts of this organization. And we're here today to make things easier for you because people have work, you have school, you have things to do. But at the end of the day, regardless of what you have in your busy schedule, you have to carry out some form of da'wah. It's an obligation. On the Day of Judgment, Allah will ask you, you have to be able to give an answer. So I'm here today with Al-Furqaan Foundation to make things easier for you. I'm here asking that you help us in our project. What we do is we distribute translations of Quran nationwide, English translations of Quran, so people can get the message of Quran and understand it. So I'm here asking that you sponsor some Quran for our project so that Allah knows what you're doing. Allah knows that now you have helped the cause of da'wah. You have fulfilled da'wah. It's not a one-time thing, but at least you've done something, right? So I'm here asking that you support this project. I'm asking that you think about da'wah in all, not only just for the project, but you think about da'wah in every aspect of your life. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us be perfect embodiers of Islam. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us patience and gives us the ability to be forgiving and not be people who lash out at other people because of what they might say about Islam. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us perfectly show Islam to the people. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعدائك أعداء الدين اللهم لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واعف عنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا واغفر لنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا 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 أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله العلي العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. بالصلاة.